was 4 months after I was born that my parents decided to leave Sri Lanka, to leave Jaffna, and ever since we are in Germany. As a kid, you're not aware of it because your parents they don't talk, right? So you know the background story, but you don't question it. You're just happening to be there, and the older you get, you start raising questions.
Yeah.
You know, questions that are popping up in your mind. But I think it was like a lot of childhoods, you know. But of course, we were having dark skin, you know, in a white city, so you face a lot of things you do not like to face as a kid and as a person growing up. I was in Colombo in 1999, and the first time I was in Jaffna after we had to flee the country was actually last year. I was on a reading tour in South Asia, and then I was reading in Colombo, and we went to Jaffna. I was reading at the Sri Lankan archive and at the Jaffna University.
Okay.
This is the place where I was born in, this is the city where my family comes from, but I'm not a very emotional person, so I don't feel any emotional attachment. It was one part, a crucial part, but only one part of our story. Yeah. Two people who have never met each other, Senthuran Varatharajah, who had fled Sri Lanka with his family in 1984 and who is a PhD student in Berlin. Kosovo in the mid-90s, she's studying art history in Marburg. And on the surface, this conversation is about what it means to grow up in a family of refugees, what it means to have fled a country, what it means to grow up in an asylum camp. But it actually is a meditation on language and death. It's a very much relying on concepts of the philosophy of language, you know. So this is basically the background story of the novel. What are we capable of saying? Can we talk of the experiences we have made and the experiences of our parents in German language? What is necessary? How should we bend the grammar, break the grammar in order to make something sayable, you know, that has never been said before? About connecting, it's about respecting the individuality of different experiences, you know, not putting them in hierarchies, not comparing them, you know. Each story has its own dignity, you know, its own choreography, its own intimacy. But we hardly talk about things like that, you know. So I wanted to create a space where two people can actually open up in a way they could never open up before. Honestly, I can't say that. I mean, of course, there needs to be some sort of reconciliation. There needs to be some sort of remembrance, some sort of reparation. You know, acceptance of what has happened and what were the reasons, the causes for what has happened. But what I'm talking about this novel is not the war, because I have not experienced the war. We were in the very privileged position to have fled the war. We were not here. I'm talking about the diaspora experience, how the war has shaped us, even though we were thousands of kilometers, miles away. You know, that is the main focus when it comes to the war experience. And yeah, I don't know. I think first and foremost there needs to be an honest conversation, you know, where people respect what has happened, the thousands of lives that were killed and destroyed, and that people are still suffering from the effects of that horrible war.